We leave Europe just like Brexit, and we're here for the Singapore Grand Prix around the streets of Marina Bay. The 10th time the Singapore Grand Prix has been held on the OC calendar since its inaugural race in 2008, the second of 3 night races on the calendar this season. It's the 6th and final street circuit that will feature on the season's calendar, and the circuit will also see the return of the infamous Singapore Sling, for the first time since 2014. After 2 seasons, it had just the dull and boring left-hander towards the end of the second sector. So we got the Singapore Sling back, which is also named after the famous drink, the Singapore Sling. Previous winners here included Joseph Willows, Will Neller, Nicholas Gow, Jay McKenzie, Florian Volker, Alex Southgate, quite a few names there. The circuit, of course, quite a long circuit, 5.073 kilometres, 23 corners, 61 laps, so it'll be tough on the drivers. The lap record set by Nicholas Gow in 2009 at 133.607. The cars, as I said, were ridiculously fast back then, and they were, of course, are very fast today, but 2009 was a fluke, let's say. The tyres we'll be using for this race will be the ultra soft tyres for the first time, I believe, which is going to be very interesting. And the driver of the day from last time out was Oliver Glazebrook, after a very impressive 5th position, and also leading the race for 1 lap as well in the McLaren, might I add. Anyway, here is the starting grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, and it's Florian Volker on pole position with Jay McKenzie from Mercedes alongside him in 2nd position. On the 2nd row of the grid, we have Nicholas Gow for Red Bull and Joseph Willows for Ferrari. Joseph Willows and Ferrari in general had a terrible race last time out in Italy. Julius Anderson 5th, a great qualifying by him, ahead of Will Neller in 6th position for Mercedes. But yeah, so both Ferraris out of the race last time in Italy. Amar Khan 7th and Ricciardo 8th for Red Bull and Force India. So they could be hoping to regain that momentum, or regain the momentum they'd lost, I should say, Ferrari. Franco Lopez and Evan Byrne 9th and 10th on the 5th row of the grid. On the 6th row of the grid we have Thierry Now Tiernan for Renault and Paulino Tomaselli for 12th. Now Tiernan, who finished a pretty impressive 7th for Renault. He's not had the greatest amount of luck this season. Row 7 is the 2 McLarens of Roberto Gamba and Oliver Glazebrook for McLaren. Michael Mocho and George Roque on the 8th row of the grid, 15th and 16th positions. On the 9th row of the grid we have Franco Gamba and Roland Moitian for Toro Rosso and for Williams. On the 10th row of the grid we have Joel Hutter for Haas and Nicolas Zorbach, who finally finished his first race last time out in Italy in 20th. And on the last row of the grid we have Felix Sontag for Sauber and Etienne Jones for Manor. So there we go, that is the grid for Singapore. And the team news, the GP4 OC news, is that Florian Volker will leave Ferrari to join Mercedes. Amar Khan will leave Red Bull to join Ferrari, with Volker freeing up that position. Gabriel Gomez will return to the top class with Sauber. The 2020 GP4 Offline Championship will be the final season to use car performances based on real life, and Manor will also pull out of the series at the end of 2020. So that is the news this week. A lot of news, and it's going to be very interesting when it comes to 2020 and for next season as well. The race, quite luckily, has no rain, thank God, because this race would be going on for about 3 hours otherwise if it was raining the whole race. Imagine a full wet race at Singapore. That would just be absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, we now have the 5 lights about to come on. 5 lights are on and we're underway at Singapore as they head towards the first corner. It looks like Volker has made the best starts. He's going to keep it around the outside of McKenzie, and yes he does, so he keeps the lead heading through the first few corners. Now they head towards the end of the first few corners. This is turn 4, I believe, heading on to the back straight as Franco Lopez is trying to make a move on his teammate Rick Jans. We look at the rest of the field. Has everyone got through without damage? No, they haven't. There's several cars with damage. I think I saw a Sauber, a McLaren, and I think a Manor as well. We're looking on board from Roberto Gamba's point of view. Looks like he was involved in this. Let's see what happened to him, if he got ran into or he ran into someone. And yep, he goes into the Sauber of Paulino Tomaselli in front of him. Here is Roland Moitian coming round in towards the first corner, and does he go into the back of the Haas? No, he gets hit from behind, and it looks like I think he may have got a little bit of a shove from Nicolas Zorbach behind, and yep, yes he does. There we go, so damage to him as well. So looking at Oliver Glazebrook heading towards the Singapore Sling in 13th position as he heads towards it, and he just oh dear. And well, Glazebrook has just caused an almighty crash at the Singapore Sling, so it's already claimed its first victims on the first lap as there's pressure for the lead, or for second place I should say. Willows all over the back of McKenzie. Now his car on the inside of Julius Anderson are trying to stick it on the inside. Can he make it stick to turn 1? The answer is no, he can't. And it was Evan Byrne, the one who was hit out the race. I couldn't quite tell there who it was, but it was Evan Byrne, since now Jones was one who was hit. So unfortunately, not good for Glazebrook, not good for Byrne as well. And there's another yellow flag out coming into the pits. There's, oh dear, what on earth happened there? I've no idea. It's chaos going into the pits there. And there's about 3 cars that were trying to get all into the pits at once, and it just didn't go. Tomaselli was there, Zorbach was there, and somehow they all got away without any difficulty. But that was very, very sketchy indeed. So they got away without any damage. But at the moment, Volker in the lead has got a gap to Mackenzie behind. Woolner's up into 5th place behind the Red Bull of Miklas Gau as the cars head through the Singapore Sling. One of the most infamous corners on the OC calendar, or certainly of this track anyway. Look through the rest of the order. Volker got a little bit of a gap, probably about 2 seconds or so, over the cars behind them, which is good of course for him. So we look at Zorbach, we look at all those cars coming out of the pits, and obviously car all over the back of Anderson, but it's very difficult to overtake here. The only real opportunities you've got are pretty much turn 1 and the back straight, really, I think are the best opportunities. And, I mean, I guess you could take the Singapore Sling as well. That's an overtaking opportunity, if you can make it work, and if you can get it done before the Sling. But yes, and if you fail, you'll end up a part of the Sling. As Gamba goes past Joel Hutter, who has got an electrical problem, as he's heading towards the end of the lap. So unfortunately the pits are coming up right there, or coming up after this corner. So as Roke is stuck behind him, and Roke is now going to go past him. Oh no, he's not. Oh, you could just see that coming, don't you? And oh dear, you've got to well, there's not going to be an office door at Haas after this race, and oh dear, Joel Hutter taking his teammate accidentally, of course, taking out Roke there, coming in towards the final corner. Hutter having an issue, and Roke tried to go past and unfortunately got collected. And that pretty much, I suppose, Roke's not had the greatest of seasons. Hutter's probably outperformed him, I'd say, and of course, unfortunately, that's just summed up their season right there. It's almost simultaneous there, the cars where they're stopping and everything. But, oh dear, I would not want to be either of those two, really, with Gunther Steiner as your team manager. But anyway, we're looking at the front. It looks like Willis has dropped off the back of Mackenzie, and here's Nella, who's tried to squeeze through on the inside of Gal, heading towards the first corner, and he can't quite do it there, just not enough room. As we saw, I think Jan's just passed Lopez, and yes he has, he sneaked past him into the first corner there, and now they're all stuck behind Julius Anderson, who appears to be holding up this big gaggle of cars. And let's have a look at the fuel. He's got heavy fuel, so that is going to explain why. And a lap later, they're still stuck behind as they head through the final corner. And will Carr make it stick there? No, he can't. And now he's under pressure from the Force India behind. And oh, Anderson's off. I don't know if there was contact or not, but he's off. I don't think there was contact, but I need to have a look at it again. We're looking on board from Anderson's POV. And was there contact from Carr? The answer was nope. It was by himself. So Anderson shotting on those tyres, and Jan, who was putting the pressure on Carr in front, couldn't make it stick. And this is Will Nella. So the question is, has he managed to finally get past Gal, who got a terrible exit off the final corner, and Nella's sticking his nose to the inside. Surely this must be it, as Gal goes wide, and Nella does eventually sneak through into 4th position. And you can see Gal just went on the curve there and lost the momentum, and Nella said thank you very much and take the position. So we're looking at Nicholas Zorbach at the moment running in 15th position. Of course he finished 13th last time out, as Moitin trying to pass him into the first corner and fails. He's going to wait until the back straight to next overtake him. So they head through past under the DHL signs. Zorbach defending into the corner there, which is going to put him in a bad exit. That's going to allow Moitin to surely make a move, as Anderson is off and out. So unfortunately that one-stop strategy for him at Singapore has not paid dividends for him whatsoever. So that is not good for the Swedish driver, who had a very promising position. I think that's his best qualifying of the season, in 5th position. And unfortunately the team thought, yeah, I know it'll be great, doing a one-stop at Singapore in a car which is good, but unfortunately is, yeah, just I think the strategist will be fired for Williams after that mistake. So of course Anderson off, he's out, and I mean it was a pretty silly error to be honest, but clearly struggling on those lovely purple tyres. And I suppose Anderson will be getting himself probably a Singapore Sling drink after this, because of obviously him retiring from this race. Here we are looking at Moitin once again all over the back of Nicholas Zorbach, and at the moment Volker has got a comfortable lead as Moitin goes into Zorbach, who has survived. He's actually not gone out there. I thought he was going to go into the wall, but Moitin does make it through in unconventional circumstances. Not the best way to overtake, really, but you can see you have to really stop hard to stop yourself going in the wall. And actually, Tomaselli nearly collected Zorbach as he was rejoining. See there, oh, that was so close. How they didn't make contact, I have no idea, but they got away with it nonetheless. So we're looking at the Ferrari of Florian Volker at the moment, got a comfortable lead. We're looking at Zorbach, who is all over the place in that manner, really struggling for grip in that car. It's looking through the rest of the field. They're all generally, look how spread out they are. No one's going near each other as Sontag nearly goes too close to the wall there, running on his own in 12th. Everyone's evenly spread out at the moment in time, which I suppose you have to really, because under the lights, even though it's at night in Singapore, it's still about 30 degrees, like 90% humidity, as Sontag actually slid through the corner there. That could have gone horribly wrong. Fortunately it didn't, and he's still running. Here we are looking at Mocho, who's actually close to a car. Social distancing not in place here, and Mocho is trying to make a move on the inside, is he? Nope. And he's locked up though, and nope, he does. Lopez makes a mistake, and he says thank you very much, does Mocho, and he's up into 8th position. So Lopez, who's on lighter fuel actually, so he's not on a heavy fuel load, so he's struggling here on those tyres as well. I believe this is the first time we are using the ultra soft tyres. They've been delayed for quite a while, you could say. We're looking at the Ferrari of Volker, who is still comfortably in the lead, although McKenzie seems to be getting a little bit closer than before. I don't know if it's just me, as Volker seems to be getting a little bit out of shape, I think, into the first corner it looked like. So fuel wise, he's still got a lot of fuel, so he's obviously going to be doing the two-stop strategy. So it was up to 1.7, but you can see he just gets a little bit wide, misses the apex by about a country mile. And so we're looking now at Franco Lopez coming into the pits for his first stop of the race for the pink Mercedes. And as he comes into his pit box, let's see how quick the stop will be for the Argentine driver. So he comes in, changes all 4 tyres. How much fuel did they put in? A fair bit, but I think that's going to be a 3-stop, it looks like, for Franco Lopez. But he'll need to have a little bit more pace and also keep the car on the road if he wants to have a good result today, although this generally is a race of attrition, as many cars do usually retire because they can't, well, because either the cars fail or they can't keep their cars away from the walls. So looking at Lopez, who comes out in 11th position, just ahead of the McLaren of Roberto Gamba. That's important because he's in clear space, he's in clear air, so he can preserve those tyres, but also go for it at the same time. So looking at Nicolas Zorbach, who has been lapped by Jay McKenzie and by Volker, and now he's going to be under pressure from Paulino Tomaselli from behind him. Jan at the moment running on his own in 7th position, Gal in 5th, Carr in 6th. Red Bull's not looking particularly quick here, it seems, as Franco Lopez is coming through the end of the first sector. He's trying to get used to those tyres. He comes to the left-hander, heading towards the infamous Singapore sling. And as he comes through, set to go through it, make sure you avoid the curves as much as possible and not hit the orange curves, the sausage curves, because they'll just launch you into oblivion. He comes through the hairpin, heading towards the infamous street of Raffles Boulevard, and you can see obviously all the nice yachts on the side as they come through, heading towards the right-handers. We're looking at Willows, who is under pressure from the Mercedes behind of Will Neller, who appears to be closing on him, it seems, as Willows comes through the right-hander onto the back straight. So we could see 2 battles possibly appearing soon. Actually, McKenzie is right behind Volker. Look at the gap, it's only a 10th, so hold on. As Zorbach, oh dear, and Zorbach is out, but he's not broken the record because he finished last time out in Italy, but he is retired. So that is, I think, 6 retirements in 7 races for Nicolas Zorbach, and it's been a terrible start to his OC career. A lot of it hasn't been his fault, but this is one of the ones where it has been, and it's all of his own making. So he is out of this Grand Prix. Very unfortunate for the German driver, but he is out, making a mistake on his own under pressure from Tomaselli behind him. As you can see, coming towards the left-hander at the end of the back straight, just locked up and just went way off into the wall. So that's his race done. So I'm interested to see what's going on up front between McKenzie and Volker, as we look at Etienne Jones going past the McLaren of Roberto Gamba, who got a terrible exit, made a mistake out of the final corner. Jones said thank you very much, and took 12th position. So at the moment we're looking at Rick Yan, who I think is behind, it looks like, I think it's the 2 Red Bulls, as we come through the right-hander onto the back straight. And I believe it is, yep, it's the battle of the 2 Red Bulls. And speaking of battles, Nella has passed Joseph Willows for third position. You can see he gets a much better exit off the corner. Nella says thank you very much and takes third position. So I wonder if we'll see another swap out front. So it looks like the Mercedes are the better car right now. And speaking of cars, here's Armar car, who's on the back of the car of Nicolas Gal, who goes wide. Car is on the inside and will take fifth position, or you could say it might be team orders, but he gets through anyway, does Gal, and up into fifth position. I just said Gal, I meant car. Gal is down to sixth position. At the moment, Felix Sontag running a pretty solid race actually in 10th position, having started in 21st, so it's been a good race so far from Sontag. As there's a big battle going on, and what's going on here? And oh dear me, who is that? That's the Red Bull of Gal, who's lost terribly there. He's lost two positions in that corner while trying to lap the Sauber of, I think that was Tomaselli, I think it was, and I think Tomaselli, was he trying to go into the pits? I've no idea what he was doing there, but he just moved right in front of Gal there, and he got a terrible exit, did Gal, and then there goes Jan, and Mocho also sneaks through as well. So what a terrible what a terrible moment there for Gal, but he'll be fuming at the Sauber of Tomaselli there for getting in his way. And speaking of Saubers, we're looking at Lopez on the back of the other Sauber, Felix Sontag, and Lopez is going to get by. It looks like Sontag on the front straight, and he does. He's up into P9 unless Sontag can hold it around the outside, which he can't, because you can't really hold it around the outside out into turn 1. So he loses a position. Mocho coming out of the pits, he's on a long stint, so it looks like it's going to be a 2-stopper for Michael Mocho, and out of the pits he comes in P12, and he's going to be in clear air, so that's good for him. At the moment, Mackenzie and Volk, as you can see, is very, very close. It's less than a second, and it has been for quite a while. It looks like Mackenzie just is struggling to get past at this moment in time, but the Mercedes do definitely appear to be the quicker car. So it looks like if Mackenzie won't get it done on track, he'll do it in the pits. And Nella is actually not that far away in the distance either, actually, to be honest. So I wonder if Nella could come into it if these guys hold each other up enough. But of course, they will be coming into the pits very soon. And there's a Williams with a problem. That is Roland Moichin has got an issue. And is he going to come into the pits? The answer is yes, he does. So he does make it, which is important for him, as Volker just narrowly gets through there. It's always sketchy when that happens, coming into the pits. But Moichin, unfortunately, his race goes from bad to worse. And Mackenzie, it's about half a second. That's what it generally is, because of course you've got to preserve your engine as well. The question is, will Mackenzie get by on track or in the pits? At the moment, it looks like Mercedes is the quicker car, as I've said numerous times, but Mackenzie's not quite close enough to get past Volker at this moment in time. He's not going to be close enough on the back straight here as they come towards the left-hander, and Carr actually appears to be gaining on Joseph Willows in P4 here, so we could see another battle going on as Franco Lopez is passing the Toro Rosso of, that was Franco Gamba, for 8th position, so good move there by him. Car, as you can see, is definitely closing up to the back of Willows at this moment in time. Now, how far is he off the lead? He's about 6 seconds, so he's not quite as close as I thought he was, but you never know. As I said, if Mackenzie and Volker hold each other up, there could be a 3-way battle for the win. We're looking at Franco Gamba in the Toro Rosso coming into the pits for his first stop of the race. He's had a pretty solid race, has Franco Gamba, so good for him, as he's about to come into his pit box for the first time. And in he comes. Let's see, how much fuel do they put into his car? And it is, yep, I think that's going to be enough for 2-stop. So there we go. Jones now up into the points. Sontag in 9th position at this moment in time. He's done, as I said, a pretty solid race, Sontag. He's kept out of trouble, and he's doing very, very well. As we're looking at Carr, who is right on the chuff of Joseph Willows. Those two will be in a battle, it looks like. And we look at Franco Lopez in 8th, closing on the Red Bull of Gal, who sadly has had a pretty torrid race. Pit call for Rit Yang, who's coming into the pits this lap. So he will be obviously on the 2-stop strategy. So into the pits he comes. And we will be coming into the pits, coming to the last section. Obviously on the right is where is a floating stadium, where they usually host, sport on a floating stadium. Who would have thought? As they come through the last chicane of the lap, and the gap between Volker and Mackenzie, looking at it, is nearly a second, and I've seen Nella actually is less than 5 seconds behind, so he's gaining on them. So Nella could easily come into this battle for the win here, so don't count him out just yet. It looks to be a three-way battle for the victory, because it doesn't look like as Roda Boychins has the fastest lap of the race. Blimey. On fresher tyres, Williams has set the fastest lap. That is pretty impressive, I have to say. So fresher tyres are certainly key here, well, obviously, as they always ever are, but particularly at a track like Singapore, where worn down tyres can really have an effect on the car. As Jan comes out in 11th position, he's coming up behind Mocho, who's being held up by the manner of Etienne Jones, as Jan comes out of the pits in 11th, and he'll catch up to these guys pretty quickly if they keep holding each other up. Mocho coming on to the back straight here, and is he going to try and make a move? He's all in the slipstream, as Florian Volker is coming into the pits this lap, and there's a pit call for another driver. I couldn't quite see who that was, but Mocho can't do it there, and the gap, as I said, is up a little bit too. It's up to a second now to Volker. To Volker and Mackenzie, 1.1. But Volker obviously eking out a little. He obviously must be preserving his tyres to try and, well, get the best gap he can to Mackenzie. But this is going to be interesting, of course. Volker will be coming in first, so will Mackenzie try the overcut? Volker going to try and keep the lead as Mackenzie goes by, and he has some clear space, so who knows, Mackenzie might use that to good advantage, but we will see as Volker comes in for his first stop of the race. It will obviously be a 2-stop. In he comes, and let's see, so changes all 4 tyres. Obviously it will be a 2-stopper, not going quite as long as many of the other drivers, it seems, but he's on lighter fuel, so it'll be quite quick, so we'll see how that works for him. So the question is, will he come out in clear air? If he doesn't, that could be key, and he will come out because Franco Lopez is only just coming to the final corner, so for Volker that's pretty much perfect. In clear air, Franco Lopez is nowhere near, so he's got no traffic around him either, so that's pretty good for him. So the question is, when will Mackenzie and Nella and Carr and Willows and Gal, when will they all stop? They'll all stop in the next few laps, I would imagine. But particularly for Mackenzie and Nella, who are in this battle for the win. Got a nice gaggle of cars in this battle for 8th position. Etienne Jones holding up Mocho and holding up Jan. Felix Sontag coming in for his first stop of the race as well for Salba. And 7.7 seconds he comes in. And Mocho all over the back of Jones, and so is Jan. Mocho can't make it there. He's got a dummy to the left and still can't make it stick, so they're going to be held up again once more as they come onto the back straight yet again. So Jones obviously not got the pace, but he's trying to hold up Mocho because it's not easy to overtake him. Mocho going to try and make a move to the inside. Jan is there as well. We've got a yellow flag up somewhere, and oh, it's Galzov, and I think Volker was involved, and if that's the case, then that could have big implications on the race there. But yes, it was, and Volker went into the back of Miguelas Gal, who has been knocked into the wall and is out of the race. And unfortunately 2 into the Singapore chicane doesn't go, and Volker does rejoin without any damage, so he's lucky there, but he's going to lose quite a few seconds, and that's going to be good news for Jay Mackenzie and also for Warnella as well. So could that incident have possibly cost Florian Volker the race, as now Jones, Mocho and Jan are all going past the lapped car, although Jan has just gone past Mocho as a matter of fact, right there. But yes, as I said, Volker could that could have cost him the race, that could. But you can see he got a bad run off the corner, did Jan, and he just took advantage. So thank you very much. I just got past him there. Mocho has been well and truly mugged there by Rick Jan, as you can see coming through the corner. Did he just get a bad exit? And yeah, he just didn't get the speed off the corner there. Got a little bit close to Jones, just didn't get a good exit, and Jan just went past him, so he won't be impressed with that. But obviously they're held up behind oh, never mind. And well, look at that. So Mocho's just taking him straight back. So good move there by Michael Mocho, but Jan, he'll be disappointed not to complete that move, as we're looking at Jay Mackenzie now coming into the pits for his first stop, and I would imagine he'll come out ahead of Volker because of that incident with Gal, because of the number of seconds it cost him, probably around about, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 seconds, I'd say. Volker's just coming around, I think, the final corner now. Willows is in, so I think Mackenzie's going to come out ahead here. So Willows is in, and he comes out, but the question is, has Volker come out, or I should say, has Mackenzie come out ahead of Volker, as Volker behind Mackenzie? And the answer is no, Volker actually is still ahead. I thought it would be a little bit closer than that, but Volker still ahead of Mackenzie despite that mistake. So that could be very interesting come the end of the race. But as we're looking at Joseph Willers now all over the back of the Force India there's Amakar right now running on his own in P2 as Boccio gets a little bit out of shape, gets very close to the wall there. He's struggling. It goes over the curbs, he's all over the place. But at the moment, Nella and Carl, the only two drivers from the... Oh my word! What the... And how... What? Hang on a second. Where did that come from? What on earth was that? And Jan had made an unbelievable move, but just didn't go through with it. I bet he just didn't... He was surprised he actually managed to squeeze a gap in there. That was unbelievable. I've never seen anyone, I think, pass, well, that way into the final corner, I should say. As we're looking at Willows, who's all over the back of the Force India of Lopez, going left to right. But he can't make it stick there, so once again Mocho still unable to get past Etienne Jones. It's going to be a very frustrating race for him and for Rick Yan as well, as Roberto Gamba now sets the fastest lap of the race in the McLaren at 1:36. That's quite weird, that is, how the way the fastest laps are going, as the Force India gets a terrible run through there. Willows is being severely held up here. This is not going to do his chances of a podium any good, and Yan is pretty much almost pushing Mocho through the chicane there. As we look at the leader, Wilnella, who still won't be pitting. Carl won't be pitting for a few laps either. And here is Joseph Willows, who once again is still stuck behind Lopez. He's all over the place. He's almost pushing him through every corner. Can he get the run off the corner there to make it through? And the answer is no, he can't. So he's stuck behind yet again. As now Jay McKenzie actually sets the fastest lap on those fresher tyres. I think it was like a 1:36.4, I think, or 1:36.7. I can't remember what it was. It was one of the two for Roberto Gamba before, but now that has been taken away by McKenzie. So Volker will need to look over his shoulder, as Willows all over the back of the Force India heading towards the final corner, and surely he's going to make the move onto the front straight. He's so much quicker than him. Goes a little bit wide, does Rico Lopez, and surely Willows has got the move done coming into the first corner, and the answer is he still hasn't. So Willows, his race is being severely affected here, and Yan and Mocho, this battle that's been going on ever since the stop, and Yan is now on the inside, and he's finally got it done, but can he keep it ahead of Mocho is the big question, is the $1 million question. And Willows once again is going to try it on the back straight, going to get in the slipstream and overtake into the left-hander. Surely he's going to make it stick now. Lopez is going to dud it inside. Willows is going to swap to the left, is he? No. Still can't do it. Lopez goes again wide, misses the apex by about 2 miles. And Jones still holding up Yan and Mocho. He's doing a sterling job, is Etienne Jones. I have to say, fair play to him. He is doing a super-duper job. Willows now on the back of Lopez as they head towards the Singapore Sling. Don't do what Gal and Volker did, and he's not, but he's got a bad run, but so is Lopez. He's got a terrible run. Now Riccian, oh no, and Riccian goes into Jones, who just, oh, and that's severely, oh dear for Yan, that is severely backfired on Rick Yan. Was getting too impatient up behind Jones. He thought he would have done it, but then he loses control, and he spins the car. He also scrapes the wall, but gets away without damage, and Jones still keeps the position. And Yan, in the meantime, loses, I think, 3 places. So Jones, who was actually pitting this lap, as a matter of fact, so Rick Yan didn't need to do what he did, but he did, and unfortunately he's paid the price for it, as Lopez is finally coming into the pits, and Willows could finally be free of the pink Mercedes. So he's through, and Jones, he's done a fantastic job to hold up Mocho and the rest of those guys for so long. He finally comes in, but that's allowed actually Felix Sontag to catch up to the back of now the 2 Toro Rossos. Gabba all over the back of Mocho, and Mocho, who's severely suffered being held up by Jones. Frank Gamba's there, but he can't make it stick, but they've got to be careful because Felix Sontag is there too. Yan will be catching back up as well. That's a great battle that's going on there for the lower reaches of the points. And Yan, you can see already onto the back of the Sauber of Felix Sontag as they come towards the back straight. And is he going to try and make the move on the back straight? I don't think he's quite got the room there. Yan all over the back of him as Jones comes out of the pits just outside the points. Nella to Carr is about 2.4 seconds, so they're still going. So I think these two actually, Carr and Nella, might go for the 1 stop, but we're about to find out. As Nella is coming into the pits this lap, will he go to the end? I think he might, to be honest. Let's wait and see, shall we? So he comes in. Amar Carr now takes the lead. So I imagine Carr is probably going to go to the end on his. I would think he would, but the question is, does Nella go to the end? The answer is yes, he does, and Mackenzie sets another fastest lap as well. So that is that is very interesting. So Nella is going to go to the end. I would imagine Carr is going to do exactly the same thing as Frank Gamba and Rick Yan battling once again. This is a great battle with the lower reach of the top 10, so that's going to be interesting. So Nella is going to go to the end. I would imagine that Carr is too. It'd be stupid not to. As you can see why Frank Gamma got very wide coming onto Raffles Boulevard. He actually lost the position to I think that was Felix Sontag, and then Yan was trying to go around the outside, but Gamma managed to keep the position. But Sontag is also himself having probably one of his best races of the season. Here is Mackenzie. I would say battling Volker for the lead, but I'm not sure yet. As he's on the inside, is Mackenzie. Volker goes wide. Mackenzie's on the inside, and he'll take second position. Will he? Yes, he's through. What's the gap to Carr? It's about 6 seconds, and Nella, who's come out, is 25 seconds behind. So this is going to be a fascinating end to the race. One stop versus the two, as Mackenzie going past the slow Williams of Moitian, who's going to be lapped. But we're looking at Franco Lopez, who himself is struggling in that car. He seems to be all over the place. He really is. As we're looking at the two Gambas, 9th and 10th positions respectively. Now Felix Sontag is about to go up to the back of Mocho. He's in a position right now. He's probably going to be getting a bit of a nosebleed. He hasn't been this high all season. He's now going to go on the inside of Mocho, getting in towards the first corner. And Sontag is on the inside. Is he through? Yes, a great move, and so far a fantastic performance by Felix Sontag. He is up into 6th position, and Jan, he is just he's sick and tired of seeing the sight of any blue cars. He's gonna hate blue, just like a certain German driver hates green. I have no idea who that is. Front running car, I think he's in. But anyway, Jan now finally gonna try and get past Mocho into the first. Well, coming into the end of the back straight. Still can't make it stick. I bet he hates those cars. He'll hate them. I bet he absolutely hates them, as he's been stuck behind them ever since his first stop. The moment Carr, and now actually Carr is coming into the pit, so surely Carr's going to go to the end. He'd be quite stupid not to. We're about to find out if he does or not. Surely he's going to go to the end. If not, Red Bull have really screwed him over. And the answer is yes, he will go to the end. Will Armar Carr, as I suspected he would. Comes out of the pits, and he is going to come out. Actually, would he come out? I don't think he'll come out ahead of Nella. Surely not. And Nella's going across the line, so no, he won't. He'll come out in P4, but I'm interested to see if he'll close up to Nella, as he'll be on 2-lap fresher tyres than he will be. But we will find out as we're looking at Jan. Oh no, it's deja vu. He's going to the back of the Toro Rosso, and he's lost the position. Has Mocho? He's lost it to Gamba. Now he's got Roberto Gamba behind him, and so we're looking at Volker right now in P2. As we're looking at this battle once again, it's been going on almost ever since the first stop, really. Now it's the two Toro Rossos that are battling, of Mocho and Gamba, as they're battling. Oh no! And Gamba's gone into Mocho. Gamba's around. Mocho's in the wall, and he's away without damage. But oh no, Gamba was in the wall. Oh sorry, I've just had a crofty moment there. It was Mocho on the back of Gamba, so Mocho went into Gamba. He spun, and Gamba was in the wall. And so Mocho, well, he passed his teammate, but lost another position. So there we go. So here we go. So at the moment, Nella is closing onto the back of Volker, and Carr's closing as well, because he was quite a few seconds back too. Mocho goes wide. Oh, and Mocho's in the wall, and Mocho is out of the Singapore Grand Prix, and all followed from that incident that they had. But at the moment, look at Mackenzie, 11 seconds. Mackenzie's ahead of Volker, and Nella's closing rapidly to the back of Volker. So at the moment, Mackenzie is flying on this set of tyres, but one car that is not, or driver that is not going to be flying is Mocho. He'll be, well, he will be flying. He'll be flying to the next race already. So Mocho, who is still in with a good chance of some points, is going to get precisely zilch from this one. Goes in the left hand at wide, wall, wheel off equals retirement. So there we go. And now here we go. Nella is on the back of Florian Volker. Now actually Carr's there as well. So here we go. And I thought Carr was going to try and make it through on the inside there of Nella, but Nella's going to try and make it through on the inside of the Ferrari of Volker into the first corner. This is important for the championship as well, because of course Joseph Willows is behind Nella, so the gap, I think it was only about, what was it, 8 points, I think it was. So at the moment, Nella will be closing to within a couple of points of him, as, oh no, and a Force India going into the car at the Singapore Sling. Where have we seen that before? Oh yeah, this race, yeah, like about 3 times. So that was this time it was Franco Lopez. So it's like each Force India driver taking it in turns to Punterino drivers into the wall. They've so far failed in every mission, so we'll see if they can get them next time. As we look at Jan coming out of the pits, he's going to come out, I think, behind the Toro Rosso of Gamba, but the only good thing for Jan is that Gamba will be coming into the pits in a few laps time, so actually, to be honest, he's not going to be rid of him. But Volker is coming into the pits this lap. Nella and Carr are battling for what will be P2 once Volker goes in. So Carr seems to be the quicker car, and the gap, what's the gap? 19 seconds. So will Carr try and go past Nella? The answer is no, he won't. Gets a bad run through the final corner, so he'll have to wait. So Volker will come in. Mackenzie at the moment is clear at the front of the field, but the crucial thing is, of course, Nella and Carr are battling for position, and the gap I think was only about, what was it, 20 seconds? That won't be enough for Mackenzie to get out ahead, so it looks like if he does, when he does pit, he will have to overtake them on track, I believe. Santo right now running in an unbelievable sick position. He's got Roberto Gamba under, right behind him. He's pitting this lap, so you could try and do the undercut on him. Volker's come out, I think, in, was it P4? I couldn't quite see, because I saw Willows was coming around the straight as well. But this is interesting, because, I mean, Mackenzie will hope that Nella will act as a guinea pig to Carr behind him. But the thing is, Nella's actually in a battle for the championship. Mackenzie, I say he's not in it, but he's not, well, he's not second place in the championship, is he? So it's an interesting situation. And Willows actually is going to be pitting this lap as well, so he'll be pitting once, of course, before the end as well. And we're looking at Jan all over the back of Franco Gamba, sick and tired of the sight of those red and blue cars. Blue will be his least favourite colour, and so will red. So Mackenzie still leading, Carr behind Nella, and as they come through the last section of the lap, Nella's still, what's the gap actually, 19, almost 20 seconds. As I said, it's not going to be enough for Mackenzie to go out ahead. He needs to have at least 25, I think, if he stands any chance of getting ahead right now. At the moment, it's not happening. Roberto Gamba is out of the pits in 11th position for his final stop of the race. So this is going to be very, very interesting, because, I mean, I think Mackenzie's still the favourite to win, just because even when if he does come up behind Nella and Carr, he'll be on much fresher tyres than both of them, who have been going for at least 15 laps. So I would say it's still all in favour of Mackenzie to win right now. And as we'll see, Jan once again all over the back. Will he do it again into the chicane? The answer is no, he doesn't. This time he thinks better of it, because so far it's not been getting him anywhere. As we look at, we saw, I think Willows was coming at the pits as well. So yes, he does. He'll be pitting, and he comes out for the final time. He's on his own in 5th position. Now Carr and Nella are still battling, and actually here we go. So Mackenzie is now going to be pitting this lap, and the gap to Nella is, I think that was 20 seconds. It's still not going to be enough to come out ahead of these two, as they're still battling consistently, are Nella and Carr. Carr is clearly quicker than Nella is, but he can't make it through. And this is going to be very interesting to see what the gap will be and how far behind Mackenzie will be. He'll close up. He's definitely going to come up behind both of them, but he'll close up very quickly. And if they keep battling, he'll pass them in next to no time. So we're looking at Mackenzie coming around the final chicane, heading towards the pits, and there is the pit entry. He slides to the left and now goes into the pits. So here we go. This is going to be the $1 million question. Who is going to win? Will it be a Mercedes, or will it be a Red Bull even? I mean, Carr didn't look to be particularly in it, but he just ever since before the stop, he gained and he gained and he gained ever so slightly on the back of Nella, and those two have been in a battle ever since the last stop. So here we go. Nella is coming around the final corner now, so he's clearly going to come out ahead of Carr. It's about 21 seconds. I think he would have preferred it if it was 19, because it would have been more of a gap. But the crucial thing is for Mackenzie, he's on fresh tyres. He'll only have one lapped car to get through. So here we go. So at the moment, Warner takes the temporary lead of the race. Jan once again into the Singapore sling. I don't think he's quite got it in his head that that's not working. And unfortunately, I think he can probably blame the heat and the fact that he's failed. Carr all over Nella, who's really struggling. He's locking up. How he's held off Carr for so long, I've no idea, because Carr's clearly quicker. But as I said, the crucial thing is, if they keep battling as much as they are, Mackenzie will get to them in next to no time. So we're looking at them coming towards the Singapore sling. and Nella at the moment still leading. The gap is, what's it, 6 he could get him in at least the next 3 laps if they keep battling. Well, in 3 laps at the very least, because he'll be on fresher tyres. He'll get past them, well, I'll say get past them quickly. I suppose Carl was on 2 lap fresher tyres than Nella was. He's still not been able to get past. He's right there, so he'll easily catch these two, and he will surely pass them before the end of the race. I still don't know. I mean, I can't say that will happen for sure. But as we're looking now, we're on to lap 48. Here is this, and here's Mackenzie actually. He's now on the back of Carr, who's actually dropped off Nella by about 2 seconds. So I guess his tyres have finally given up the ghost, having followed him around for so long. As Mackenzie's all over the back of Carr, and it is actually 2 seconds exactly, funnily enough. As Mackenzie coming around the final corner, is he going to make the move on Carr? He's on the front straight. Is he on the inside? I think he is. And Mackenzie is going to try past Carr, who's not making it easy. And he defends it into the first corner, but Mackenzie just needs to bide his time. He's got 11 laps to do it, and that's plenty of time around this circuit, being how long it is and how tough and twisty it is. As we look at Mackenzie, oh, I thought he was going to go for it there. I was thinking, surely you wouldn't go for it there. That's not an overtaking position to do it in. Mackenzie's going to try and make it through here on the right. Surely that's not going to be enough room. They're so close to contact there. He just needs to be a little bit patient, does Mackenzie. But at this moment in time, I think, with the results as they are, I think Nella would actually take the lead from Willows in the championship, because the gap was only about 8 points. Nella will get, obviously, if he wins, that is, he'll get 25, and Willows, well, he's not certainly going to get as many. I think it's, just a quick calculation, I think it's about 10, I think he'll get. So, yeah, 15 take away 8 is 7. So, yeah, at the moment in time, he would lead the championship, would Will Nella, as Franco Gamba is now all over the he's over the back of the Mercedes of Mackenzie, but of course Mackenzie's on fresher tyres. Carr is struggling to keep Mackenzie behind. I don't see he's going to be able to keep him behind for long. Willows right now running on his own in 5th position, but he's on, I don't know if he'll be able to catch up to Volker or not. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the gap to Volker was quite big. But we'll see anyway, as Mackenzie is coming through under the stadium there, or the stands I should say. Franco Lopez, I just saw, was in the pits for the final time. He comes out. The gap, obviously, to Nella is 2 seconds. This is obviously good for Nella, because that allows, as Franco Gamba is actually going to unlap himself here. That is not what Mackenzie wanted at all. And, oh dear me, he's going to be fuming, Mackenzie. It's not quite working out as easy as he would have hoped. As he's all now going to have to re-lap Franco Gamba, who's obviously pitted late and is on the fresher tyres, but actually he's going to try and, it looks like, lap or unlap Armar Carr, it seems, as they're coming through onto the back straight. And surely Gamba's not going to be able to make it stick. He's really pressuring him. They almost make contact once again. Gamba's going to try and make it on the inside, is he? And the answer is he ain't going to make it stick there. So now Mackenzie is going to get back at him. So at the moment, this is actually all working in Will Nella's favour right now, because he's still leading, and all these guys are fighting over each other. There's Toro Rosso and Red Bull fighting over each other, 2 sister cars. Gamba, surely he's not going to do it into the chicane, is he? No, he doesn't. And although Carr's gone wide, he goes into the wall, I think, and that's crucially allowing actually Florian Volker. I had no idea how close he was, but he's in this battle for 2nd place, possibly even the win. So here we go. This is, let's get your popcorn out, everybody. We could see a fantastic battle for the lead, but look at the gap Nella's got now, because Carr is so much slower than everyone else around him, that apart from Nella as well, that he's really struggling. So Mackenzie's now going to pass the Toro Rosso, and now he's all over the back of Armar Carr as they come through the end of the section. So Mackenzie's lost a lot of time, but he'll catch up to, as I said, the back of Carr in about 2 seconds. And so far it's not working out. It's working out perfectly for Nella. His tyres are going to be pretty much on toast at the end, because he's been on them for so long. But Carr's tyres, because he's been pressuring Nella for so long, have severely struggled. So Mackenzie is going to have to close up to Carr once again. I don't know if he'll be able to get him this lap, but he's going to surely try the next lap as they come through, heading towards the back straight. Is he close enough to make it? I'm not sure. Oh, hold on. I think Carr's made a mistake, and yes, he has. And commentator's curse right there. Mackenzie is right there behind Carr. Surely this is the time for him to make the move. He's all over the back of him. He's going to try and move to the left. He's going to try and overtake it there. He fails. He still can't make a stick, but Carr is really struggling. And Mackenzie all over him. He's just got to bide his time. And I say, I've said that about 5 times now, but the gap to Nella is about 3.2 seconds. And now here's Mackenzie coming into the Singapore sling. He really wants it. He wants it bad. And Carr goes wide of the gate, and now he's done it. Finally, Mackenzie. He's done it in a very ruthless way, but there wasn't any contact, so job done. He's through, past Carr, and now he's going to go after Woolnilla, who's got 10 laps to hold on, and I don't see him doing that. And look at that, so close to contact, but going over those sausage curves really screwed Carr over there, and he loses. And now here it is. He's finally caught up to him. Actually, I thought he closed up to a kicker, but with just 6 laps to go. Well, now 5 laps, and Mackenzie's through already, and Mackenzie gets past Nella just so easy on fresher tyres, and he takes the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, and that could be crucial for the championship right there. And wow, so Mackenzie finally takes the lead, and I have to say, he's ever since Volker's mistake, and as I did say, Volker's mistake on Carr has very much cost him. And so there we go, Mackenzie made it through past Nella. Well, it certainly wasn't as easy as it was supposed to be for Mackenzie, but he did it anyway. So he's finally passed Nella. It's been quite funny as well, because obviously people have been saying he's under pressure to keep the Mercedes seat. Of course, we know Nella is retiring, so he won't be at Mercedes next season. We know Volker, of course, has just been announced as the Mercedes driver, so Volker will hope to, also I should say, Mackenzie will hope to be Volker's teammate, because that would be, you could say that would be the ultimate dream team. And as I said, Mackenzie, ever since he's been rumoured, he didn't have a great start to the season, but ever since then he's really improved, and he's got himself, I'd say he's probably got himself with this win into title contention. I'd say as long as he keeps this form up, it could be a late charge for Mackenzie. But I would say as well, Nella in second and Willows only in fifth. I believe points wise, Nella would actually take the lead in the championship ahead of Mackenzie, I believe. Ahead of Mackenzie, I just said, ahead of Willows. So I think we could see a change in the Driver Championship at the top of the leaderboard. But speaking of top of the leaderboard, in this race, that would be Jay Mackenzie as he comes around the final corner. 61 laps completed, and Jay Mackenzie is going to win the Singapore Grand Prix here at Marina Bay. Woolnilla in second, Amar Carr in third position, and Frank Gamera, who got involved in that battle at the end, in 11th. Volker will finish in 4th, and he'll be bitterly disappointed, as he could have been in contention for the win. Joseph Willows in 5th place, not an okay race for him, but not good, I suppose, in regards to the championship. As we look at Paulino Tomasetti come across the line in 13th position. Rick Yan will come across the line in 6th. He had 2 words for him, Toro Rosso. 2 words he will want to get out of his head, because he was just stuck behind them for the majority of the second stint after the first stop. So it was a tough race for him, I have to say. But he's finishing 6th, and that was definitely the best he was going to get from this race. But he comes around the final corner, and he comes across the line, and he will take 6th position. And Roberto Gamba, actually, another impressive performance by him in the McLaren, following Glazebrook's performance last time out at Monza. And Roberto Gamba will take 7th position, so good result for him. And Felix Sontag, you have to give credit to him as well. 8th from 21st on the grid is a fantastic achievement, and ahead of a Force India as well of Franco Lopez. And Etienne Jones takes the final point as well for Manor, so quite a few good results in there for the lower tier drivers. So that is the race over, and we'll finally take a look at the full race results. Jay Mackenzie winning ahead of Woolnilla, Armour Carr in 3rd, Florian Volker 4th, Joseph Willis 5th, Rick Jan 6th, Roberto Gamba 7th, Felix Sontag 8th, Franco Lopez 9th, and Etienne Jones completing the points in 10th. Franco Gamba finishing just outside the points, 1 lap down. Armour Carr actually set the fastest lap of the race, actually, at 1:35.7. With Roda Moitin finishing 12th, and Paulino Tomaselli last in 13th position, with Michael Mocho, Nicholas Gao, Nicholas Zorbach, Julius Anderson, Joel Hatter, George Roke, Thierry Tiranen, Oliver Glazebrook, and Evan Byrne not finishing this race. So there we go, that is the full race result. So let's see the drivers in the constructor standing, shall we? And here we go, and oh, look at that, 1 point, the gap to Nella and Willows there, and that is going to be fascinating indeed. Mackenzie in 3rd position, he's definitely slowly but surely gaining on the front two. Armour Carr in 4th, Florian Volker moving ahead of Nicholas Gao to 5th, Rick Yan, Roda Moitin, Franco Lopez and Julius Anderson completing the top 10. Evan Byrne in 11th position. The rest of the order, Roberto Gamba moves up to 12th ahead of the 2 Toro Rossos of Mocho and Gamba, and now Tiranen as well. Joel Hunter 60th, Tomaselli 70th, Roke 80th, Glazebrook 90th, Sontag moving into 20th ahead of Jones, Nicolas Pascali 22nd, and of course Nicolas Orbach in last with 0 points. But of course he does have a finish to his name, so he is classified in the Drivers' Championship. So there we go. We'll now take a look at the Constructors' standings after Singapore. Mercedes still leading, only 30 points ahead of Ferrari, so it's very close there. And Red Bull not that far behind as well, only 47 points behind. Ferrari in second, Force India way behind in fourth, sorry. Williams in fifth, Renault sixth, Toro Rosso seventh, McLaren eighth, Haas ninth, Sauber 10th, and Manor in last in 11th position. So there we go, that was the Singapore Grand Prix, a very, very entertaining race, and we'll see you for the next round, the Malaysian Grand Prix at the Sepang International Circuit. Don't forget to, as you guys, your drive of the day, and give the race a rating out of 10. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in Malaysia. Bye-bye.